Yay! I'm so excited to have my friend Kristi Reynolds on today. And
Hello.
Kristi, yes, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm
Of
excited.
course, I am too. It's so great to connect with you again. So let's dive in. Like, why are we here today? What are we talking about? Where did we start?
Where did we start? Oh my goodness. Um, before we started this call, I was going through the journal that you and I kind of started about 2 years ago. And just like I was just saying, where I was 2 years ago compared to where I am today, mentally and physically, is night and day. So, yeah, where do you want to start?
Well, okay, let's go back to 2 years ago. Where were you 2 years ago? We'll backtrack a little bit.
So I cannot think exactly how or when I decided to kind of make that phone call or email to you saying, "Hey, Melissa, I really want to start something." At that time, I really just felt like I was kind of overweight, kind of blobby, and I was reading most of your posts as, let's decrease sugar, let's lose weight, right? And so, okay, I have to start somewhere. So reached out to you and we kind of started our first conversation. And I have my notes from our very first talk. And so we were talking about why I wanted to lose weight. And so my whys were I was feeling blobby, my clothes were too tight. And then we start getting into the emotional stuff, which you don't even think about until you start talking through that a lot of those feeling down, feeling fat, feeling blobby, feeling tired um, are more emotional issues than physical issues. So we dove a little bit more into that. And some of my other whys were my anxiety was super high. I was drinking almost daily. A lot of it was, work or business related, going out to meetings. But then every weekend, the clock would end on my work day and it was time to party Friday night, right? Because it was time to relax and have fun and kick back. Um, and smoking, I was smoking at the time. And I think of that now and I'm like, what in the world? I was a smoker. Um, and then not sleeping and forgetfulness. So those were my whys. And so we talked about some outcomes. And of course, weight loss was one of the things that I wanted to do. I was heavier then than when I was full term pregnant with my daughter. So weight was a big issue. But you and I just really dove into those emotional issues of what I was eating and how I was eating and what I was drinking and why I was drinking, and what was stressing me out and why it was stressing me out. So we worked together for well, it was about a year and a half with some movements in there between. But yeah, it's amazing where we've gotten to together today.
Absolutely. So where are you now?
Okay. So one of the other fun things I did is
Oh,
I put here are the things from 2019. I was full of stress. I was in drama, anxiety, self doubt, felt ugly and fat. I always seemed confident, but I never felt good enough. I was having problems sleeping. And one of my big things is I was giving all of my precious time to the wrong things and the wrong people. And again, forgetful. And I will let you know I'm still forgetful. Like we didn't fix that one at all. But I wrote down just a few minutes ago as I was going through this, I said, wow, I'm not even that person anymore. And it was never about the weight. So most of what you and I did together, the big things that helped me change to where I'm at today, which is healthier, happier, more time for my family and friends, is having gone through all of those emotional things. So that was the biggest part of our journey.
did that surprise you? Were you ready for that?
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I absolutely went in and I was like, okay, let's talk about what to eat and how to eat and hydration and, when to exercise and how much to exercise. And oh my gosh, girl, if you and I didn't go into childhood trauma and power of the white man over me and things that I really did not expect that we were going to go into. But things that when I was in it, I couldn't recognize it. And I didn't see that those pieces were what was making me kind of spin out of control and always needing to be in control or have stress or feel like I had to hold the world on my shoulders, that nobody else could help me. So, oh, look, I'm going to start getting teary.
Okay, we both will.
It's fine. It's fine. So no, I absolutely did not go into this thinking that we were going to go into those deeper issues that is, in my opinion, the only reason that I now am where I'm at today. And that includes weight loss. So boom.
So are you saying, Kristi, that by working on the deeper issues and kind of some things maybe you weren't prepared for or thinking we would touch helped you accomplish what you wanted?
That is the only way I think that, I mean, I could have lost weight in other ways. You can do all kinds of diets. This is the only way that I know that I will stay where I'm at physically and emotionally. Yeah. Yep. Going into those deeper issues and really talking about why I was doing what I was doing, why I was binge eating, why I was binge drinking, why I was, running 26 out of 24 hours a day. So yeah, absolutely.
And why you were wearing the nail polish color that you didn't want to be. Ah, the girl.
Hot pink nails today. That is a little inside thing between Melissa and I. But yes, I am wearing hot pink nail polish today. And as often as I can get my nails refinished, they're hot pink.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So were you scared? I mean, because as you're talking about this, like, it might sound a little scary, right? To talk about, deep things from childhood or that you've worked through. Was it scary?
I think the way that we went about it is it wasn't, as if we were diving right into childhood trauma day one, right? We started with, what are some of the stressors? What are some of the reasons that you're feeling anxious? And a lot of those that we talked about at the beginning had to do with work. And then as you knew, but the audience doesn't know, my husband was going through some major health issues. And I was a CEO, I was working 50 hours a week. So we kind of started with that, like, how do we do everything we need to do? How do we be a working mom and take care of a sick husband and have 2 little kids who you want them, to have the world and have vacations and have, all the image things that I thought were so important at the time, which I now could give 0 about now. So I feel like the way that we went about getting to those deeper issues was in such a gradual way that it wasn't you bringing up those scarier things. It was me going, oh, that clicks with this, that clicks with this. And then we would process through those things together.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you this, because I think a lot of times when people think of coaching, they think she's going to tell me what to eat, she's going to tell me when to work out, and she's going to tell me what to do. Is that what we did?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. What I really loved is, and I can go back on the notes and it's so interesting to see, is all the different options of things that we talked about. One of my big things was I was never hydrated, probably because I was drinking a lot. So every day was a hangover. Not every day, but anyway, I digress. So hydration and how can we do those things better? Nutrients, what do I like? What don't I like? And really putting together a very individualized list of things I like, things I don't like, and never, ever, ever feeling guilty about eating or drinking something ever. I mean, I never felt any type of judgment or guilt once we got started. And once I understood, why am I eating what I'm eating? Or why am I eating this much of it? Or why am I behaving this certain way? There was no judgment involved. It was just let's just talk through it. And if it worked, great. And if not, let's make a new plan.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So was it what you were expecting?
No.
Okay.
No. Which is an absolute good. The greatest thing about it is not at all what I was expecting, but exactly what I needed.
So what were you expecting?
Just in working with you in general at the beginning. Yeah, I was really expecting to learn okay, I need to drink the 8 cups of water. I need to eat the 1 cup of spinach with the half of cup of chicken. And you need to burn this many calories a day by doing XYZ. I really kind of went into it thinking, I want to cut sugar. Sure. I recognize that sugar needs to be cut. I recognize alcohol needs to be decreased in my life in particular. Um, but yeah, I really kind of thought we were going to go more into the nutritional aspect of it, which we did. I mean, we really did go through a lot of learning about adrenal glands, learning about fight or flight, stress hormones, that sort of thing. Which then, when I would go and meet with my doctor, really helped us, with some other medical things that needed to be addressed. So we covered absolutely everything. When I went in thinking we were just going to go down this one path, we wound up looking at every single path, a holistic part of how I needed to move things forward to be the person I wanted to be.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you were okay with that?
I was, yeah. I mean, as you and I had lots of tear sessions. Like there was crying involved. There was lots of journaling. There was some phone calls to people I needed to make. There were some relationships that I had to cut out of my life. There were a lot of changes that had they all had to have been done at one time, I wouldn't have done it. It would just scare absolutely anyone. But as you go through the process and you grow and you learn and you recognize symptoms and triggers, and you're gaining the knowledge of the nutritional pieces and the emotional pieces, those things kind of start to fall away on their own. And it's not so scary to break up with a friend who is really toxic, or try to repair a relationship that then you now recognize you're the one that was the crazy person and you need to go back and say, oh, now I see. So let's talk this through.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So if you could use one word, or maybe a couple words, because I hate it when people are like one word, it feels really confining. So use some words to describe where you were maybe before we started. How would you describe Kristi a few years ago?
Kristi a few years ago was unhappy and unhealthy in every way, physically, emotionally, in every way unhappy. And now I feel like I just get to be who I was supposed to be and want to be and am. And it's empowering, because now I'm like, okay, if you don't like the way that I am, okay, peace out. And I don't lose sleep over it. It doesn't bother me. Yeah. So unhappy to happy.
That's awesome. How has it impacted your daily life?
I have very strong and meaningful friendships with people who support me, and people who don't or didn't are no longer in my life. I recognize, there's so many things. There's the physical pieces, and the I don't want to say a diet. We were never going through a diet process. But I recognize when I'm thirsty. I recognize when I'm full. I recognize when I have overeaten and I'm like, oh, wait, what's going on? Why did I do that? Or I'm to the point where I can stop it in the middle of it, which is fascinating. Like, you cut a burger in half and you only eat half of it. Like, what? Yeah, you can totally do that. That's a thing. So yeah, we just it so many ways.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you learned how to listen to yourself and your body.
For sure. For sure. And as I was going through some of our lessons again, just to kind of prep and talk today, some of the things I just didn't know before are the things that impact me the most. Again, recognizing hunger and fullness. Doesn't that seem like such common sense? And one of the most powerful things I remember you and I talking about is Ellie, she was 5 at the time. She's now 7. Like, she knows when she's not hungry anymore and she stops eating. And my default was to be like, your plate is still full, you eat. No, 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 no. She recognized in herself that she didn't want to eat anymore. And you and I talking through that specific piece about what I'm doing with my own children and what my parents had done to me because their parents had done to them. And having lost that ability to recognize your own hunger cues was absolutely huge.
I remember that conversation plain as day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure that we were on Zoom at the time, but if we were, I'm sure
No.
you've seen me like, holy moly, what in the world? Like, we can stop now. We are done. We've accomplished life.
Let's go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that
Oh.
was a big one. And then
So
having
it's
that conversation with my husband and talking through things was important so that he and I were on the same page, and he wasn't going, you need to finish your blah, blah, blah before you can leave the table. So,
so it sounds like not only did it impact you, but it impacted your kids as well.
yeah, the way we eat as a family now is completely different. Now, I'm not going to say we don't go out to Mexican and have our margaritas and eat our chips and salsa, like we do. But the majority of our food at home is cooked and cooked by me. I get a fruit and vegetable shipment every single week. So you've got to kind of figure out how to use all those things. Ellie's go-to snack is apples, but
Okay.
she's always been a good fruit and vegetable eater. But just recognizing that when I feed my kids well, their behavior is better. Um, Reminding Evan that when he eats well, he's going to perform better at his baseball game. So he knows like he's got a game tonight. He knows I'm going to have, healthy food ready for him. He's not having a cheeseburger and french fries before he goes to play baseball. He'll feel like poo. And so teaching those things to them as well has been really important. And then, as you know, Matt has supported me no matter what. I don't even know how I deserved him, but here we are.
You do, and I know how. Well, what I love about with your son, Kristi, is that you made it about something that's important to him, right? Like he loves baseball and he wants to perform well. So you tied the relationship with what he eats will show up in how he performs. You didn't make it about, oh, well, you're growing, you need to, be muscular or whatever. Like
Right.
I love that you connected that. That's really powerful. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Welcome.
Keep saying I have done all the work on this journey, but I just want to reiterate that you have taken me so far and that we have done this hand in hand. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for letting me journey with you. Like, it's been awesome. I love it. It's so great to hear this from like this point of view. You know what I mean? Because in the middle of it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so great and awesome. But to like connect afterwards and hear, your experience is really powerful. So
Thanks. Yeah. And I really do think that if you go back to where you and I first began and where I was and just anxiety and crisis and I just kind of had a victim mentality that I really didn't even recognize that I had. And then going through over the course of a year and a half. And I think we just met monthly, right? And
we
a
did
couple.
weekly. Well, I don't remember. I think we started off doing weekly and then we tapered it a little bit.
That's right. That's right. That you could, I just really could see where I made those connections with the anxiety and the childhood trauma and the holding on to that victim mentality piece, and how it was affecting every aspect of my life, including how I worked, how I ate, how my relationships, who I was drawn to, who I wasn't drawn to, all of these pieces. So that was really important.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's not something that a diet plan or a workout program would ever touch.
No, absolutely not. I think about how I felt about myself 2 years ago and kind of the negative self-talk and the things that I would say to myself. And um, yes, I still have this little roll on my belly, right? Now I don't care. Whatever. Now I look at it and I'm like, I had two babies and I am a healthy, strong woman. And 2 years ago, it was like, oh my God, why would my husband want to be anywhere near me? And I'm disgusting. And I'm sure everyone is looking how gross I am. Like just that mentality I had when I look back on that is wow. Wow. I would never talk to myself like that now.
Good. Don't.
Yes, I
Don't go
will.
back.
I will not. And I think that's one of the things is I think it's a thing where I can't go back. Once you learn those pieces, you can't unlearn them. And so I don't think this is one of those processes where, you can do a keto diet and you can lose 15 pounds, right? But the second you stop it, you go back. I think with what's powerful about this is I can't go back. I can't tell myself I don't recognize that hunger anymore. It's just part of who I am now. I can't tell myself that I'm a horrible human being. I've gotten myself to the point where I know I'm not. So there is no going backwards with this. That's really the cool thing I love about it.
Yeah, because it changes your habits. It
Right.
changes how you show up in the world.
Yeah.
And once you show up differently in a way that aligns with who you are,
Hmm.
I'm not going to go back to that person
No,
who was wearing all the hats and trying to make everybody
right.
happy and wearing the beige nail polish and
Right. One, I don't want to. Two, I don't think I just couldn't. I get a client. I'm not sure if we talked about this before or after, but I've got one of my clients who just really doesn't make me feel good about myself as a human, and I'm not going to work with them anymore. And before, I would have moved mountains to make sure they were happy and they had everything that they wanted. And that's not how my life works anymore. And it's amazing. And it's so freeing.
yay. So what would you say to somebody who was like, "Oh, I don't know. It sounds interesting. Maybe." I mean, what words of wisdom would you have?
Words of wisdom. Well, I guess if you're listening to this, don't go into it thinking that you're going into a diet plan, because you're not going into a diet plan. Um, but if you really want to make deep and meaningful and long lasting changes, physically and mentally, this is absolutely the way to do it. It's not fast. It's not overnight. You're not going to lose 15 pounds in 3 days. I've lost 20 pounds over 2 years, but it is 20 pounds that's going to stay off. And I continue on the journey. And if I lose more weight, great. And if I gain 5 pounds, great. um, it, it's a different way of thinking and a long-term way of being happier and healthier.
That last, right? Because I think I've heard you say, this is who I am, and I'm not going to go back to where I was because I've changed. I know how to change, and this is it, like the line in the sand.
Absolutely. Yep. You pick up tools week after week after week, and some of them stick and some of them don't, but most of them do, and are going to take you to that next level that you want to get at. Because deep down, like I said at the beginning, it I thought it was about the weight. It wasn't about weight.
So what was it about?
It was about not feeling good enough and not being a healthy person overall.
Mhm. So weight was just the byproduct, maybe.
Mhm. Yeah. And I'm sure all of those things that I was doing was contributing to weight gain. Um, but until you get to those things that are contributing to why the scale kept going up, um, you can get it to go down on smash diets here and there, but it's going to come right back.
Mhm. That's awesome. That's awesome. Anything else you'd like to tell people or say or share?
Oh goodness. I just really have appreciated and loved everything that you have done for me. When you go into a relationship like this with someone, with a health coach, with a life coach, you really get to know each other on a deeper level. You really um, understand that, I understand that you care about me, like as a person, as a human. It's not about a paycheck or whatever. It's you've just transformed my entire life, and I'm forever grateful.
Now I'm gonna cry.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, because it's not about the money. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
about helping women find that freedom and
Yeah.
be who they're meant to be so they can show up and do the same for their kids.
Yeah.
And it's kind of changing the way that we grew up because not that it was bad or wrong, we just knew that there was a different way and we wanted to give that to our kids and maybe didn't know how.
Yeah. And if you remember too, when we were first talking, I felt like such a bad mother. I felt like I never had time. And when I did have time, I was tired, or I was angry, or I was frustrated, or nothing was ever good enough. Or on the other scale, I was trying to do so much for them that it just wasn't sustainable and wasn't really something that anybody was enjoying. So just the calmness that I have over my life now, where when my kids walk in the door, I'm excited to see them. I'm not on my phone. I want to hear about their day. I want to go to their games. I want to, you know, hang out with them as humans and give my full self to them. Where before there was always something else going on constantly. So, better wife, better mother, better human. Maybe not in some aspects, because when people are not nice to me now, I have the courage and confidence to be like, no, thank you. You won't be in my circle of people. And so those things have nothing to do with decreasing sugar or weight loss or hydration. But all those things have come because once you figure out, again, those emotional pieces, you want to take care of yourself. You want to nourish your body. You want to make sure that you're hydrated, because then you can be the best self that you can be and go on a run that makes you feel good. Like all the pieces connect together, and you have to go through every single one of those, issues in order to get them all to stick together so that you have a path that you can stay on and it's not constantly going off track.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I remember when we first started, you were saying things like, my mind is always racing. Like, I just can't shut it off. Like, I'm always thinking. And it sounds like now you're able to be fully present and really in the moment and with your family. And that's powerful.
It is. It is. I'm 37% through my yoga training. Yay. So that has also helped me to, stop and calm the mind and not have those ruminating thoughts, but I don't have them the way that I used to anyway, because I'm not on 5 boards and working 50 hours a week and eating fast food constantly and going from one to one to one to one to one to one to one. I just get to live now and enjoy it and say no. That's a big thing that you taught me. That's a whole other podcast. How to say no. Oh, we went over that one a lot.
We did. And now you're doing it.
I'm really good at it now.
And it's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. It's been awesome to hear your story and your journey and just, hear it in your, point of view. Because when you're in the middle of it, it's so great. But again, to hear it like after the fact is just a totally different picture. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yep. From beginning to middle to end. And it's not ended. That's the cool thing about it, is I will just keep on this path. It's just been really eye-opening and life-changing.
Yay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap, my friend?
No, I'm just so grateful for everything that you've done for me and your friendship and your amazing words of wisdom and your non-judgmental, just beautiful self. So thank you.
Well, thank you. So I have to tell everybody, you and I go way back because we went to the same high school. Like, we grew up together. So
yes.
So yeah, we knew each other back in the day. And I think about who we were back then, and it's totally different.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a fun thing about life. You just keep going in different directions, but I'm pretty happy at the direction I'm at now, finally. So that's great.
For you. So thank you for all that you did. And thank you for letting me journey with you and for your courage and sharing with the audience just your journey and giving us a sneak peek of how awesome you are and just the work that you've done, because it is that inner work.
Yeah. Yes. And you kept saying that. I mean, it is a lot of work. If you're listening to this, it's work, and you need to do the work, and you need to think about things and go pretty deep. But it's absolutely worth every second.
You only have to do those things if you want to change. If you don't, then that's cool. Don't.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if you don't do it, then you're just going to stick in the same rut that you're in, and, might as well head on out and have your cigarette.
Right. That's right. And have a big one while you're at it.
That's right.
Oh, look, a health coach just said that. Whoops.
I think there's an edit button, right?
Yeah, probably.
For sure. Whatever.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you, Kristi. I really appreciate you just sharing your story and yeah, being here today. So
All
thank
right.
you, my
Yeah.
friend.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for everything that you've done.
You are very, very welcome. Thank you.